Why do you even need title insurance? Or do you need title insurance? I'm gonna let you know. Title insurance, what do you need to know? Today I'm here with Harry Marshall, and basically he's gonna explain to us what title insurance. Now, if you are in an attorney state, if you look at your HUD statement, normally there's gonna be a line for title insurance and how much you pay for it. Me, I'm under the impression that, okay, I have title insurance, so being that I have title insurance, I can sell to the retail buyer. That person, they can sell the property, because we have the title was good enough so that the title company stepped in and said, hey, I'll insure it from all liabilities and all claims, you're good to go. So that's what I think of it. We're here with Harry Marshall, who's very popular and busy in the Charlotte, North Carolina area. A lot of investors use him all throughout North Carolina and South Carolina, actually. So Harry Marshall, could you explain title insurance to my audience? And I think it's like a must-have thing because it protects us.
Title insurance is an interesting world. I'll try to give you an overview without going too deep into the rabbit hole of its details, but title insurance is something your lender usually requires. So when you're buying with a loan, the lender will require that you insure the property through a national company. And to back up, there are two different main ways that the United States do things. Some states are an attorney state, where if you're going to do a closing, you hire an attorney. That attorney is the one that will negotiate by sending a title opinion to a title company, and they will decide to insure the property or not. Other states, they're more ran by the title company. Instead of you sending your closing to an attorney, you send it to a title company, and they have attorneys on staff that kind of handle that and drive the process. So depending on the state that you're in, that will dictate if you go to an attorney or a title company. In North Carolina, for example, you bring it to us and we do a title opinion, we do a title search. That tells us whether or not we agree to insure the property, whether we will submit an opinion to the title company stating that title is clear, or it will be clear upon the following conditions, usually a condition such as like paying a mortgage. So we submit this title opinion to the title company that says, we're going to pay this mortgage, we're going to pay the HOA, we're going to do these following 5 things. And if we do that, will you insure this property? Will you give a commitment back to us stating that you'll insure this property? And they will do that if we tell them that everything is good and clean and clear after doing that title search. The interesting thing in the world comes from maybe if you're buying something with cash, though. Do you need title insurance? An unpopular opinion might be that you don't really need title insurance if you're buying with cash. You rely on your attorney to do the title search, and your attorney is the one responsible for whether or not there's good and clear title. So you don't have to buy a property title search with title insurance. You can save the $500 to $700, or maybe even more. Sometimes it's a couple grand if you're paying with cash. Now, if your lender or financed closing, they're going to require that policy. There's nothing you can do about it. But I know plenty of investors that would probably call title insurance a scam to some degree. It's a worthless cost for people that are not really doing anything to help you. And to explain that and why I would say that, which is probably that unpopular opinion, you haven't heard that previously, when there's a problem in a closing, let's say someone missed a judgment, and that judgment creditor, the person that's owed money, is coming to the new buyer saying, you're in a house that has a $70,000 judgment on it, I want paid. If you have a title policy, you call your title policy and say, I want this $70,000 judgment paid. They're going to call the attorney and say, why did you miss the $70,000 judgment? The attorney's going to say, after saying, oh shit, they're the one that's going to have to negotiate with that creditor and probably pay it themselves. Or the attorney's going to have to submit it to his heirs and emissions insurance. So there's multiple insurance companies involved. Title company isn't really doing anything other than telling someone else to pay this. They're saying, we're not responsible for this. The attorney missed it, he's the one responsible for it. So the attorney, if he doesn't pay it himself, is going to have to submit it to his heirs and emissions, a different insurance than title, and say, I missed this, will you pay it? That insurance company is actually going to go to the seller and say, you didn't disclose the $70,000 judgment that the attorney missed and should have found, and they're going to try to get the seller to pay for it. So it's everyone pointing fingers and trying to figure out who needs to pay for something like that. But if you bought the property with cash and you don't have a title insurance policy because you wanted to save that $2 grand, you're still free to go to that attorney and say you need to pay this, or your heirs and emissions insurance. and they should be able to figure that out and pay for you. The title policy in that situation is kind of worthless. It doesn't really do anything. If you want to look at it in those terms, maybe the value to a title company or a title insurance policy is the fact that they'll figure something out for you. If you find a problem, they're the one that likely will give you an attorney, and that attorney is going to sue the attorney or sue the heirs of admissions insurance and or sue the seller. Wonderful old America, they're probably all going to get sued, and the attorney will probably kick in a few dollars, the title company will kick in a few dollars, the heirs of admissions company will kick in a few dollars. Hopefully the seller hasn't moved to the Bahamas and they'll kick in a few dollars. Things will be rectified and fixed one way or another. But title insurance is something that you don't really necessarily need. Now, if you're not going to get it, obviously put something in writing with your attorney, pay them the $200 for a title search so that you have it documented that they did their job and they said that it's clean, so that you could go after them if they find a judgment.
All right, so with the title insurance as well, right? So basically what you're saying is if you buy a property and if I call and say, hey, this IRS says they owe $70,000 and they were not paid, I call my title company thinking that, well, I got title insurance, they'll take care of it. Basically what the title insurance company does is look from who they can get money from to pay that.
Exactly. That happens all the time, and that's a common misconception. People think, I'm calling my title company, they'll fix this. They're not going to fix it. You're in for a long ride. It's going to take them a month to even email you back. And they're going to email the attorney after that month, and he's going to email his heirs of admissions company, and maybe a year or two in the future they'll figure it out. So it's going to be a huge headache for you either way. There is no miracle button that the title company is going to say, this is fixed, you're good to go. So it's a huge headache, which is why you can maybe argue that it's kind of a scam and not worth getting unless you really need to.
Okay.
Maybe that's advanced investor knowledge. Your first couple of deals, you should probably just get title insurance and not worry about it.
I've had issues in the past, and whereas, hey, this was missed, right? From what I got from the title insurance company, they only pay if the creditor steps up and raises their hand and says, I'm owed money. They won't pay if the creditor is not stepping up. That's
true, and that's an interesting world of title insurance. If you find a $70,000 judgment, the first thing they're going to say probably is, be quiet. Let's hope that that person doesn't ever come forward to get paid. And it's very often that something like that might expire. Judgments in North Carolina are valid for 10 years. So that $70,000 judgment might have been from 2014. So it's only valid until 2024. They're very rarely renewed for another 10-year period. So most of them, 99%, expire after 10 years. It might be the title company's opinion that the best thing to do is ignore this, hope that it expires. That title company will work with future buyers to insure properties and basically ignore their mistake. Yeah, that's very true and very interesting. Another misconception about title insurance, they're just going to step forward and pay a claim and everything will be good. That's not what happens sometimes.
In my investing career, I never heard about a title insurance covering the lien, but I have heard about title insurance suing people.
Yeah, it's very rare for them actually to pay a claim. Usually they're going to turn around and sue the attorney, sue the attorney's insurance, sue the seller, sue the realtor, sue anyone that knew about the problem. They're going to do something to try to fix it without paying. Now, there are certain problems they will pay, forged deeds, and there are a couple rare situations where they will come forward, or they'll help pay a claim. If the attorney says he'll kick in 50%, they might kick in a few dollars, assuming the attorney's insurance kicks in the rest or something. It's kind of a negotiation trying to work towards getting good title for the buyer so that they can move on with life.
There you have it, the interesting world of title insurance exposed. Yeah, with the title insurance is not what we thought it was. I didn't know that, which you just educated me on this video. I can forego title insurance because I am covered by the attorney's E&O insurance.
Yep.
Wow.
Now there, maybe some value to if the attorney goes out of business or disappears or dies. You could maybe say that title has some value there, but a lot of the investor deals, you're flipping it in a couple months. You might even own it for 10 minutes. That extra title policy, you could argue, is not worth it.
Okay, so guys, you can save your money without the title insurance and I never had an attorney say, hey, you don't need that because you're covered by the E&O insurance. Here, I'm saying this title is good, but you're saying in those situations, right, because people from all over watch these videos, if you decline title insurance, that you should get something in writing that the title is good from that particular title company or attorney.
Have the attorney put something in writing that they did a title search and they certify the attorney's opinion. He'll put it on an opinion letter stating here's the title search, basically. And if he misses a judgment or whatever, you say you missed this judgment, it's your error, submit that to your insurance. Now, some states are going to be ran by that title company, where your closing costs might only be $400 for the entire closing. It's because they own the title company and they're making $2,000 on the title policy. In North Carolina, the attorney cannot own the title company or should not. So here, the attorney fees are a little higher than in states where the title company can do both because they make their money on the title policy. So that's probably why you're going to hear them not saying that title insurance is worthless, because they want their $2,000 on that title policy. That's how they make their money.
Wow. Well, there you have it, guys. That's news to me. So we can all save some money and get that opinion letter from your title company or attorney as investors. Now, of course, if we're dealing with financing, then there's no way around it. The financing companies 100% of the time want the title insurance. Guys, before we go, Harry Marsh, how do people find you? How do people utilize your business? Because you operate in North Carolina and South Carolina.
Correct. Go to the website, it's easy, harrymarshalaw.com. But feel free to find me on Facebook as well. Ask me for my cell phone, I'll give it to you. I text, Facebook message, whatever is easier, I'm easy to get a hold of. I want to be easy to get a hold of, so you send us closings and we both make a lot of money together.
All right, so there you have it, guys. I'm Nasser, AKA the Real Estate Guru. Not a guru, I'm a guru, because I actually do this business. And while you're here, man, check on the last video I did with Harry Marsh, man, with Real Estate Closings Explained.